Well, good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday night. You're tuned in to 91.7 FM WMSE Milwaukee. My name is Cal, and it's time for Local Live. Good to be back in the studio. We had a fantastic week last week at down at Club Garibaldi. Just want to personally thank everybody who listened, who donated on that show. It's always great to know that you guys are out there still supporting local music on WMSE. We really appreciate it here. And so we had a great time at Garibaldi. That was our last one of the season. And we'll be back down there for more live at Club Garibaldi, local lives in the fall. But we always take the summer off because, you know, it's same night as Chill on the Hill. We don't want to take business away from them, of course, so we'll just be holding it down in the studio for the summer. And anyway, I'm flying solo tonight. Aaron has other stuff going on this evening, and I am in the studio with Careless. That is Ryan King, and if you wanted to Google Careless, you just have to remove the vowels of Careless, and you can find him. He's on Bandcamp and all that good stuff. I think the first exposure I had to Ryan's work, he's got a label which is called Collective, and for that you just omit the first two vowels. I came across them, I think it was in 2014. There was an artist named Wyatt, and I'm not even sure how I had heard of Wyatt, but amazing electronic ambient type of stuff, and I don't know what happened to Wyatt since then, but and I feel bad because I haven't kept up completely with everything on the Collective label, but listening to Careless, you'll get a pretty good idea of kind of the broad spectrum of stuff. It's Careless, I would say, is primarily electronic based, what I've heard at least, and I think I've heard most of it, but from there the definition gets a little foggier. There's all kinds of different instrumentation that will go along with Ryan's beats, and there's a lot of guitar, acoustic and electric, just all kinds of different styles going on, so it's going to be interesting to see what we hear tonight. It's got a pretty elaborate setup out there, and I recognize some of these song titles that are on the set list, some not so much, so it's going to be cool to see how this goes. We'll be talking to Ryan in just a little bit, of course, and we will get to some live music in just a moment. First, we have a quick message for you. Stick with us.
WMSE's Local Live is supported by Club Garibaldi. Located at 2501 South Superior Street in Bayview. Open 7 days a week, Club Garibaldi serves burgers, hot wings, and more, and features live music weekly. For more information and Club Garibaldi's live music events, visit clubgaribaldi.com.
Thanks, as always, to Club Garibaldi for supporting this program. And like I said, we'll be back down there on this program in the fall. But rest of the summer, we'll be here in the good old WMSE studios. And now it's time to turn it over to the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio. Here is Careless.
Être humain complet, s'appelle CRLSS. Ils viennent de Wisconsin, ils viennent de Milwaukee, Wisconsin. C'est pas colorless, moi j'appelle ça careless. Tu sais, quand tu manques de voyelles, tu peux un peu pas switcher. Je pense que c'est careless.
This song's called Undertow. This song's called Hurt. Love the mute button. I keep them locked away, reduce them to strays, but I clean the cuts and scrapes. Mercy, we abstain. I really hope you're all entertained as the snow covers the stain. A soft caress, it's gonna lower my defense. It all felt so final. WMSE only plays final. Yeah, but it lowered your defense. So for the greater good, it's later understood. So for the greater good, it's later understood forever. I really hope you're all entertained. I really hope you're all entertained. I really hope you're all entertained. This song's called Mimpathy. We're Careless, CRLSS. I could catch a spell. We spend so many hours all alone. Weak rest for a life helping me forget. Wasn't there when I got my first regret. Now in the summer, we were so many things. Yeah, in the summer, we were so many things. I need you here and not here too. I need you here and not here too. Open fair for my carriage, so I'll take that ride. All is all when you're so small, I had nowhere to hide. I can't spell this, but I could catch a spell. We spent so many hours all alone. Weak rest for life helping me forget. Wasn't there when I got my first regret. Not in the summer, we were so many things. I need you here and not here too. I need you here, not here too. In the summer, in the summer, in the summer, oh, we were so many things. I need you here and not here too. I need you here and not here too. I'm moving back to the east. I am moving back like you said I would. Moving back to River West, I'll think of you less and less and less. Places that I've been, I could never find a friend. All I found was pretend. All I found was just pretend. Now even when you are near, I don't want you so close. You fail me with all your ghosts. No, I don't got no time, no time. I just don't have the time to run around in your heart, just wasting away, just wasting away. And all your expectations, yeah, no expectations. With all your injections, no expectations. Even when you knew your family was on the line, I never once did. Nah, I never once did see you cry. So I'm leaving this feeling. No time anymore. Yeah, anymore, no. Anymore, no. Anymore. Well, my man, he loves me for one good reason. My man, he loves me for one good reason. He said it's better than being alone. You're braiding your hair in the morning time. You're braiding your hair in the morning time. It's the only thing that you do before you get yourself fixed. It's the only thing that we ever did well. It's the only thing that we ever did well. I don't wanna grow old, forget it, I just wanna grow old. I'm so ready, I've been so told, but don't you die so young, don't you die so young, don't you die before all of your fun. Well, my girl don't love me for 7 good reasons. She don't love me for several good reasons. 'Cause 6 was never good enough. Even Satan was put on that shelf. Said I got places to go, it don't include you. You're not in my realm up in the sky. There's things that I'll need from you, you cannot ever provide.
Hi, this is Dante from Wolf Parade, and you're listening to WMSE.
All right. I am in the studio with Ryan, aka Careless. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Grateful to be here.
The set was great. Very much enjoyed it. So I guess I want to dig into your past a little bit. This isn't your first musical project, is it? Careless, or is it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah?
I mean, I've been in... no. Actually, previously I played with a great local band called the BBs.
Okay.
They were really took me under their wing and allowed me to play bass in their band. I wasn't familiar with essentially like playing live as periodically as they did, and they welcomed me into their band, and I had a great opportunity to go on tour with them this past September.
Okay.
That gave me a lot of knowledge about the whole thing, because I'm new to playing live overall. Usually I just sit in the basement and make music by myself, so I was glad to have the camaraderie of that.
Okay.
So
did you have a musical upbringing, or did you learn kind of on the fly as you needed to, as far as making Careless music?
Due to not having band members or I guess band members that had the same mindset and or direction as I wanted to go in, I had a hard time keeping friends and or bandmates due to dedication issues, and I just felt like I should try to do it myself. And throughout the years by default, people would come over, leave a drum set at my house. It's there. I'm going to play it, and I end up playing it. And, over the years did learn most, rock and roll instruments, bass, guitar, drums and stuff. Not greatly by any means, However, I can probably pick it up and do a little something. But it's not I'm going to say I'm mid-grade at everything.
Okay.
It's not,
So was making beats the first thing that you turned to as far as making music?
No, not at all. I grew up playing in the orchestra from fourth grade on, playing originally violin and then to bass, and I stuck with that until 11th grade, and was in jazz band and stuff like that for bass guitar. So it's always been bass oriented for me all the time. And from there, I took some lessons. I had a great orchestra teacher. Bill Sisson was awesome in La Crosse. He's amazing. He still works there and would put up with me, which was half of the issue. And he's big reason I learned the actual notes on the bass, at least, because a lot of times I'm just playing by ear.
Okay.
Sincerely, I know the little old scale that everybody knows, the square scale or whatever, but when it comes down to it, I'm just playing by ear completely.
So as far as Careless goes, I guess from what I've read, the whole story starts with a hockey game. So can you kind of trace things for us from there, whatever you'd like to tell about that and the whole ordeal that ensued? Well,
I mean, it's it didn't necessarily just start with a hockey game, but that was amplified with it. I'm an addict outright. I am. I have been. I always will be. It doesn't change or go away or anything like that. The disease of addiction is it's like a diamond. It's forever, forever ever actually. So essentially, I had gotten hurt, and previously, throughout high school, I was in active addiction as well. I'm not gonna, and had been up until almost 28 years of age, using opiates, definitely. However, I feel like you just keep trying at it, because just because a person relapses doesn't mean that they go off and they're gone. A lot of times it can be the jarring experience that they needed to have a more rigorous foundation in their recovery by messing up, essentially, which sounds crazy, but for me that doesn't work so well. So I build a wall around any type of thing like that to keep myself safe, just because I don't want to lose everything that I worked for over that, because I wasted, I'm 34 years old. I used and abused from 17 to 28, 27, and I have nothing to show for it. However, I have a story to tell that did occur, and that I don't think it should be such a taboo thing to be an addict and say, hey, I'm an addict. For instance, I was at a show with an awesome band called Sleeper Sound on March 29th. I ended up, talking in depth with one of the individuals in the band, and come to find out that he greatly related to the extent where I couldn't even believe it. I can't share it specifically, but it's just, if you put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm this, I'm an addict, I have a problem, then it becomes less, frightening or weird, or like, all the negative connotations that go along with it, as far as he's an addict, he steals, he's an addict, he'll mess you over, things like that. And the only way to do that is through showing people, I guess. Right,
rather than repress it or try to hide it or whatever.
Yeah, it took me a long time. I don't know if I haven't figured it out. I'm not going to be complacent. I've never figured it out, but to come to that spot where I'm like, all right, well, maybe if I let it be further known and I'm open with people about it, then it'll be easier for me to continue to stay clean.
Yeah.
Because that's what I shoot for every day.
Because a lot of people, you'll talk to a lot of musicians and they'll say, like, the music lifestyle is sort of dangerous for people as far as like intoxicants and stuff like that. So what do you say to people as far as like what helps you like keep yourself away from it in like the musician lifestyle?
I completely agree with you. It is difficult, and for me, what I've been doing, I've been grateful that Juliet is huge assistance in that, actually, as far as she a facilitator of sorts, where I'll say, hey, can you watch the equipment? I can't hang out in the bar. Mm-hmm. I just have to go, and it's not out of being rude to the other bands or anything like that, when a lot of times I really do want to watch and listen and see them and stuff, but the environment, I just know that I need to leave and then I can come back. And I think the Sleeper Sound show on March 29th was the first time where I really went out of my way just to say, this is what it is. I can't keep hiding it. I can't keep saying, why do you disappear and leave? I'm doing that to keep myself safe, and so that I can show up for a show and perform,
Yeah.
Or so I can go see my daughter, things like that. Like,
absolutely.
But Juliet really does help with that a lot, as far as a lot of the anxieties and stuff that I'll have over being in what they would call a using environment. Essentially, a bar is a using environment. Alcohol is not my choice thing. However, you can find other things at bars, as we all know. Of course.
And we should introduce Juliet. I failed as a radio host here to introduce you earlier. I know that, first of all, when did you two start working together?
How long's it been? We both share a day job.
Oh, okay.
So we originally met there. Ryan checked out some of the visual stuff that I do. I'm an artist in a lot of different ways, but predominantly visual. I had been making some collages out of found materials, and Ryan really liked them, asked me if I would do album art or allow him one of my pieces to become album art, and I agreed, and we became friends and started dabbling in different things. And most of what I do in this live performances is video projection art that I've compiled from still images of my own art.
Okay.
Animations of it being made and layers of it being made. And it results in kind of a psychedelic, colorful zone atmosphere. And I think it jives really well with Ryan's music. So it's been an interesting journey and an opportunity to participate in lots of things that I hadn't been previously, get me out of my box. So I think it's been a good way to kind of, work together and help each other promote what we do, both individually and together, back each other up.
I wanted to ask you too about the cover, like the album artwork for the new album, because it's really a striking imagery. Where did you take the photography for that?
About with the Heartstrings album cover? Well, I needed an extra way to make money a long time ago, and I started turning a hobby into a business. I was selling hand-cut stickers made out of found objects, mostly discarded vintage periodicals, and I started making lots of them, and I would sell them at arts and craft fairs, and I started making collages with them. So it's all real images physically put together. There's nothing digitally produced or copied. So I really do have these little pieces of paper that I arranged and took a photo, and that's how I make my collages. So
very cool. So Ryan, how did the collective label come about? Like, how did you start that up, and how did you go about finding artists to collaborate with on
Essentially, I had been living in Stevens Point, in the middle of nowhere, and trying to reach out and become a part of someone else's collective initially, and everyone kept rejecting me. All these different, SoundCloud or online posses and stuff like that, and I just was like, well, why don't I just start one for everyone and anyone that wants to be a part of something type of thing. And it kind of snowballed from there with my really good friend Blake, who lives out in Portland, who does a lot of the anything that's written on there. He's going to be the guy that did that because my grammar is far from savory, and So basically, I would just message these individuals and say, hey, we're putting together a mixtape. Would you like to be a part of it? And this will provide to you no money, because I'm not getting any money from it either. However, it provides some exposure for you because I think your band is really rad.
Okay.
That's all it was. And then from there, it started, the more releases that came out, then the platform started to get a little bit more popular. I emailed, Andrew Jervis at the Bandcamp Weekly and kind of, told him a couple upcoming bands that I thought were really great, which were not me, which, I wanted to send him my own stuff, but I really felt that the bands that I had were better than me. So I had sent him NYT Heat, Wyatt, Home, and he's played a collective artist. I think he's played 10 times. Never once me, however. Nevertheless, he has played, and just out of, I just will email him or send him a message and see if he's into it. And if he's not, he won't respond. That's all there is to it. But if he is, it'll pop up on the Bandcamp Weekly.
Yeah, very cool.
So
maybe that's where I discovered Wyatt. I couldn't remember how I came across him, but
yeah, and actually he ended up going on to release another EP that's up now too, which is awesome. He has a single called Silhouette that I adore as well.
Okay,
it's awesome. So,
all right, so tell us just real quickly about the new EP that's coming out this week, right?
Yes, this week. So, the title on the second song, I think there may be some confusion. It's called Child I Will Hurt You. It's actually a Crystal Castles song.
Oh, okay.
It's the last track off of, I think it's the 2008 release. I forget the exact release, but it's the last song on it. And essentially, I felt like it was an anti-Trump song. To me, that's how I felt when I read through the lyrics, and I think it got misinterpreted a little bit, at least in the River West area, because I certainly have been getting a little bit of REI, or askew eye rather, because that's not what it's about. It's not about hurting children or anything like that. It's more like that's what the dude says,
right?
Mr. T. He's not Mr. T, but
the
Trumpable. And basically when he says child, he means the world.
Right. Okay.
And that's what he's doing.
Well, it's good to clear the air about that for sure.
And it is. Look it up. It's a Crystal Castles song. It's a cover of which had gradually turned into something different, and then it got super dark sounding. But the underlining aspect to it was that I'm not a super political person. However, the only president I ever once have voted for was Obama. That's the only one. So anyway, it was supposed to be my effort at giving Trump a little whip and harassing is what I said. Yes.
All right. All right.
It does
So
have that word within it. Yeah.
the record's set straight on that song.
Yeah.
And that'll be up on Bandcamp. This Friday?
It's up on Bandcamp now because I like Bandcamp the best. I feel like they're the platform that helps me discover music like that I never thought I'd discover really, really quickly. I love their new app. However, it'll be on all streaming platforms on Friday as well. So it's up there right now, but as far as like Tidal and iTunes and Spotify, it'll be Friday. And then due to not being able to finish the entire, I was planning to have it be 7 songs, so then there'll be a follow-up to that on May 31st.
Okay.
So.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's get you back out there for a second set.
Okay, cool.
And we'll talk a little bit more after that about This Is Your Song. Everybody out there in Radioland, stick around. We'll be back shortly.
This is Rio Turbo. You're listening to 91.7 WMSE Milwaukee.
All right. We are back, and we are just about to send it out to the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio for a second short set from Careless. Again, that is CRLSS if you're on the Googles or on the Bandcamp, of course. So we're going to send it out there right now for his second set.
Set. This song's called Take, Take, Take.
Honest, and you were haunted. It's what you wanted, but all those costumes, they always cost you. You and your spoon completely consume you when it takes and takes. When it takes and takes, when it waits and waits, when it waits and waits, when it takes and takes.
So that's from Heartstrings. It's just the acoustic version of Take, 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 which is that. Here's Heartstrings.
You can tell your friends why she hates you. Staring at the ceiling, it's meaning, it's fleeting. I'm seeing them heartstrings fall. For that feeling, it's meaning, it's bleeding. I'm seeing them heartstrings fall. Oh, heartstrings fall. heartstrings fall, 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 fall away, fall, 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 fall away. You can tell yourself that you're better. It's all I thought I needed, and it's even I'm leaving. I'm seeing the heartstrings fall. You can tell yourself that you're perfect, wearing out the headdress, drinking any progress. I'm seeing them heartstrings fall. Oh, heartstrings fall. Oh, heartstrings fall. Heartstrings fall, 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 fall away, fall, 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 fall away, fall, 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 fall away. juice. It's a little bit funny.
All right, we're back in the studio with Careless. And you chose a Wolf Parade song for This Is Your Song. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the song and why you picked it.
I picked it because it was a huge influential band for me. It has been. I continuously listen to them and all their offshoot projects as far as like Handsome Furs, Sunset Rub Down, Frog Eyes, and I remember seeing them right when this record came out in Minneapolis at First Avenue, and everyone already knew all the words to the songs.
Wow.
And the record had just came out, and I know Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse had kind of helped them out with their Sub Pop release and stuff, and it's a band that grew to essentially be my favorite band, I think. And Modern World especially, because on this record there's a lot of synthesizer stuff going on, a lot of electronic stuff going on. However, in this one, Dan Beckner sings, and it's more acoustically driven, and especially the triumphant second half is what I really love.
Okay. All right. That about sum it up?
And the Modern World is it's varying as we know, you know.
Indeed it is.
So the name is there too. Yeah.
So we're going to listen to Modern World off of Wolf Parade's classic debut, Apologies to the Queen Mary.
I couldn't play it when I tried to learn it too. I was like, what? It's a hard song.
I can sympathize, but I don't play any music, so here we go. Here's some Wolf Parade. Enjoy.
Kicked out the moss. Well, a few. I'm not in love with the modern world. I'm not in love with the modern world. It was a torch to drive the savages back to the trees. Modern world has more ways than automation and a senseless change. While the people go out and the people come home again. It's got lights to fill up your eyes in a nighttime orange sky. And from my bed, the sound of haunting hissing in the van. Modern world, we don't ask why. 'Cause modern world, we build things high. Lonely hearts, canyons filled with light. Modern world, I'm not a place to meet you. You just bring me down. Modern world, I'm not a place to meet you. You just bring me down. Modern world, I'm not a place to meet you. You just bring me down. Modern world, I'm not a place to meet you. You just bring me down.
Guess I just have a few credits to wrap things up here. I want to thank everybody for tuning into tonight's edition of Local Live on WMSE. Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, recorded and broadcast live from the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio on the downtown campus of the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Local Live is produced by me tonight and engineered by Billy Cicerelli. Video by Moleskin Productions. Hospitality for Local Live artists provided by Cedar Teeth Pizza, who can be found online at cedarteeth.com. Anodyne Coffee, who can be found online at anodynecoffee.com. And by Sprecher Brewing Company. More information at spreckerbrewery.com. For upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live performances, visit wmse.org. And tune in again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another edition of Local Live. It's the make-up date for Cash Fire Sunset. Finally, they were unable to play earlier this year. Finally got a make-up date, and super excited about that. They have a new album coming out, too, so get psyched for that. And stick around. We've got Midnight Radio coming up next. We'll see you next week.